Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Lion's Den with Seth. I'm your host, Seth, and I want to welcome you. Say hey to everybody. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? If this is your first time tuning in, hit the share button, y'all. What we do here, we talk about everything growth, development, and action. You understand me? Anything that you can do, anything that we can talk about, you can do it right now. I want to say Happy New Year's to those that wasn't on the last show and didn't tune in, and hopefully everything is going good with you and yours. Now, my co-host Herm, he got the heebie-jeebies, and so we didn't want him to spread all that stuff. He sound real jacked up. So for y'all's safety and his, we let him stay in the bed. You understand what I'm saying? We don't want all that mess. But anyway, make sure you hit the share button, y'all. Yes. We got a great show today. I met this young lady last week, well, actually earlier this week at the St. Louis Chamber of Commerce, right? Where I did a conversation, had a facilitation of the new year for your business. And it was funny. She looked familiar, didn't know really who she was. And it's crazy because after we had the conversation, after the class, we had like over 290 something mutual friends, but that wasn't it. The most important thing is what she do. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in right now, we're talking about building young businesses and bosses, right? And that's what she do. So let me give you a little bit about Miss Arriel. All right. So she's a two-time cancer survivor. First of all, shout out. Yes. 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 Shout out to you. Shout out. And to all of the survivors out there. So yes, so she's a two-time cancer survivor and the founder of Young Biz Kidz, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to empower young people by engaging and encouraging financial literacy. Lord, don't we need it? Some grown folks need it too, right? But also in entrepreneurship, specifically for the youth. So she believes that teaching financial education through entrepreneurship gives a great way to introduce smart money habits early. What y'all think about that? Y'all ready? I'm ready. If y'all ready, help me give a nice, warm Lions Den round of applause for Miss Arriel Biggs. Yep. What's going on, Miss Lady? Uh-oh, you muted. Let me get you out of there.
I got it. But thank you so much. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to get into this conversation.
All right. And again, everybody, if you here, let us know you here. Let us know where you're listening at or from. All right, just chop it in, right? Tune in. So tell us a little bit about yourself, ma'am, before we get into the biz with these kids. Talk about you. Who are you?
I am a mother, a wife, a servant leader. I love to laugh and have fun, but most people think that I'm super serious, but I love to laugh and have fun, but I am about my business and handling business. Most of all, like just more importantly, I like to serve. Like that's the biggest thing about me. Serving, resilient, um, and I love all things kid, but I love all things economic, financially empowerment too.
Love that. Okay. So tell us a little bit. Hey, well, first of all, what's going on, everybody? Miss Lisa, I see you over there from Belleville, right? Brian, what's going on from North Kakalaki? What's going on? So tell us a little bit about who you are, how you started this, right? What was it? What was it that lit that flame that say, look, I want to get these kids together, all right? Because they
Yeah.
need some help.
Yeah, honestly, it was my 7-year-old son at the time, and he wanted to start a business. And I was like, boy, kids don't start businesses. You cannot start a business. But then he was just like, I want a vending machine business. I want this. And I'm talking to him. I'm like, boy, no, you can't do that. But then something clicked in my head like, no, we have to stop talking to our kids and telling them what they can't do. On one hand, I'm telling him that he can do all things through Christ who gives him strength. And on the other end, I'm telling him, no, you can't do that. It's like, no, something, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, girl, what are you doing? So then I started to speak to the child that was in me through him and being that person that I needed when I was younger for him.
Mm. You see, first of all, thank you for saying that. And again, welcome everybody that's tuning in. You said something that I love. You was telling your son no, but you were actually talking to yourself based off of what you've been hearing all your life until you realize, wait a minute, I'm perpetuating the same thing and continuing this, right? So
Yes.
what was it that had you say, wait, okay, I need to stop this? How did that happen?
Um, I think basically because I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur myself and didn't have the support, and then looking at my child that's 7, but as I'm looking at him, I know he's going to eventually become adult and be one of those young men that's out there that I'm going to be worried about. So I was like, I got to teach him how to put the right thing in his hand before the wrong thing get in his hand, because I know the environment that we lived in, he didn't have many options. So if I'm seeing this entrepreneurial spirit and bug in him now, I needed to make sure that I cultivate that before somebody else cultivated.
Big facts. And I'm so glad that you said that. We have parents or individuals that don't understand what the streets can do if you do not tap in early, right? If you do not
Yeah.
raise your children, the streets or TV will. And we all know how that's working now, right now.
Yes.
You right? So you did that. You talked to him. You listened to him first and foremost. So I want
Yes.
to say thank you for that. But first of all, let everybody know where you're originally from. Those that's tuning in that don't know, where you from?
Okay, so I am from St. Louis, Missouri. I
Okay.
grew up in the Cochran Projects,
Okay.
right downtown. That's where I grew up. Born and raised, 17 years. I moved out with high school after high school.
Okay. Okay. And so give us a picture of the surroundings, right, where your child was raised. Let us know how was the environment.
Um, so 100% transparent. It
Oh,
was hood, but for
wait,
us,
wait,
but
wait.
for
Hood.
yeah,
H-
it was hood. Duh. It was hood, but for us growing up in it, we didn't know any difference. So for us, it was love, it was caring, it was neighbors. It was if you doing something, your neighbor gonna snatch you up. Like it. That's how we grew up. It was community,
Okay.
and sometimes it gets lost in certain media outlets that because you grew up in a project you lack certain things. But for me, I look at my child now and feel like he's lacking something now because we're in a estates. We live in an estates now, so we live in a prominent community. But I feel like he's missing something, that neighborly love, that community feeling, because everybody often doing their own thing. So for me, growing up in the projects established me as who I am today, and also gave me what I needed for that endurance, that resilience, that knowing what it means to stand up and fight for what you believe in. I got all of that growing up in the projects.
Yes, yes. I'm so glad you said that. Far often individuals will hear where you're from and they automatically judge you based off of the location, but what they fail to realize is the morals that's giving there. And not just that, that's where that resilience come from.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And so when you're in a prominent environment, or let's say suburbs, and you don't have the I guess the trials and errors and that roughness, but it's also a different type of love, right?
Yes.
To your point,
Yes.
it's more community based. Okay, all right. Well, I like that. I like that. And
Yes.
then so, what do you feel as though he's missing now versus where you guys came from?
The biggest thing I think is community, and having that village of people that look like him, that he can go knock on their door and say, "This is what's going on with me," or "I need some help," or just anything. Just having that community, like everybody that grew up in the projects with me was my cousin. They was my auntie. It didn't matter. Like we were all related in some type of way, and I think he missed having all of those aunties and uncles and people that's gonna say something to you if you're doing something out of line. But he has all of these other things, but I think for a child growing up, they need to hear more than just their parents' voice. They
Absolutely.
need to hear other voices that's going to help them, and other perspectives. Because growing up in the projects, I even the drunk on the corner can tell you some wisdom that you might not have gotten being somewhere else, and it can be true wisdom.
Sure.
So it's just like you learn how to make life work for you, and know that you want more, knowing that you're going to get more, but this is just part of my process. And I'll say this too, Seth. Part of my process, I needed to be there all of those years and grow up in the projects, because now when I reach back and go into people's lives and dig deeper, I understand some of those same challenges that they face. So when we say we're going to help you and take you to another level, we're going to help you elevate your mind, most people think that you don't understand where they come from. But when I can say, no, I've been there, I've done that. We warmed up water in the microwave because the lights was off. We ate peanut butter and jelly not just for fun. We ate syrup sandwiches because that was our snack. Like this real life over here, they understand, oh no, she gets me, but she's successful now, but she does understand where I come from.
Love it. Love it. I love that. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in the Lion's Den right now talking with Miss Arriel. And we're talking about where you come from does not have to be your destination, if that makes sense. However, don't forget it, right?
Yeah.
Because we all come from some place. So let's go and pivot into the desires for helping young kids, especially those that's in, let's say, underprivileged locations.
Yes.
So apparently you have a heart, right? You have a heart for helping the kids and everything. How can you see and point out those, I see that in this child, or they just need to be groomed a little bit more? What are your telltale signs?
um having a so the children having a parent that's going to listen to them first off, because then you have not many me's. I think the biggest thing is teaching kids how to think and not what to think. So if we allow them to think critically and let them say, okay, this is what I want to do, and help them to process what it is that they want to do, and only interject to ask a question and not tell what to do. So if your son say, I want to start a lemonade stand, say, okay, so what type of lemonade stand? They'll tell you, okay, now how are you going to market this lemonade stand? And then they'll tell you, and then they might say, well, I'm going to market to everybody in the United States, and everybody going to be by. Say, okay, well, let's niche it down just a little bit, because we have to have channels where we can get this out. So we don't have that right now, but how can we start right now? Why don't we start to everybody in the neighborhood? So we got 4 blocks, and then they'll think, yeah, we got 4 blocks. I know 6 people on their block, but allowing them to develop by asking the questions. And some things you won't know right away, but as you see them doing these things, you're going to know my child is a very good critical thinker. You're going to see my child is a very good public speaker. My child is good in marketing, because they color, they design, they know they're good with this social media stuff over here, but we got to allow them to do it in order to know that they're good at that thing.
I love it. I love it. You know what? I think sometimes, a lot of times, we shut our children down for protection,
Yes.
right? Because we're looking at our children through the lens of an adult, and because we know how crazy the world can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we should be there to help to push them along, because they don't have that fear that we have. You get what I'm saying? I do know some individuals that will try to scare the bejesus out of kids from doing things that they want to do. It sounds so crazy and so whatever, but girl, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't want to go and do that. You know you go die, don't you? Like, what? What you doing? Like,
Not die, Seth.
I ain't lying. Hey, you know you go get shot. Like, what? I can't even dream in the house, right? So whatever I want to do, look, I'm gonna die. Come on now, chill on out. And so what happens is, too, I believe that sometimes we expose our level of ignorance. You see what I'm saying? Because we don't know, we gonna say, "Shut up, do what I said." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do what I told you to do. No, you can't do it. Why? Because we don't even know how to do that market research. We don't even know. Hey, how can you have a conversation, to your point, with a child say, and the child say, hey, I want to do this lemonade for the whole block, but you don't even know your neighbors.
Yeah.
Right? You don't even know, right? And so this is an opportunity to get to know that together. So explain to me some of the barriers that you might have had dealing with parents that couldn't see the child's vision. Have you came across that before?
Yes. And I have it on both ends, Seth. So
Okay.
I have it on the end where it's parents that don't see it, and then I also have helicopter parents that try to force it. So then that's a barrier too, of kids wanting to be a part of something but not truly knowing what they want to do. But then the parents say, well, you gonna do this because this is what I like, and this is what I seen such and such do, and it works. And it's like, but if that's not what's in alignment for that child's life, it's not going to work. And I'm not talking about picking careers for kids early on, but what I'm saying is, when you teach kids entrepreneurship, it's a mindset. It's a difference between being a business owner and an entrepreneur. You can develop into an entrepreneur and get all these different skill sets and then take that into business ownership. But entrepreneurship just is taking risks, letting that child take a risk. And most parents don't allow their kids to. The other piece, the barriers that that I realize that I deal with, is limited beliefs of adults. They don't believe that they can do it, so they don't believe that their kids can do it. But we also have to look at, this is a different generation. They have different different things at their fingertips that we didn't have. Our role was go to school, go to college, and get a good job. But that's all our parents knew. But now you see a lot of us millennials that say, you know what, that ain't working for me. And you see a lot of us doing a lot of job hopping, and you hear the older people say, well, they just won't be still. The problem why we won't be still, because we realize that that does not work. So we're trying to figure out what works for us. And the next generation, Gen Z, they already know what works for them. They know they want to be rich, and they know that they want to use their mind to make them rich. They want to create something and be a sensation overnight. That's what they want. But it's steps and it's processes to that. So my job as a youth advocate is to help parents to see that we're going to identify some things within your kids. We're going to let them run any type of business they say they want to. Miss Arriel going to make it work for them. But during that process, we're going to look at these skills. We're going to look at how do they think critically. Then we're going to see how they do in marketing. We're going to see how they do in storytelling. We're going to see how they do in organizational skills. We're going to look at these other things to see how they process so that we can guide them in the right direction, because we don't realize that networking is something that they can make a whole career off of, teaching people how to network. Communication can be a whole, like Seth, when I saw you, and I know I'm cutting, but when I saw you teach the other day, I was like, oh, this brother got something. Like when you pulled out the Freddy Krueger and you making the noise, I'm like, okay, come on, Seth, come through, Seth. But most people don't think that you can make a living off of speaking. And if our kids have done something, overcame something, they had obstacles, they can take that story, package it up, and sell it and live off of it for the rest of their life. The problem is parents don't realize that this is something that they can do. So that's what I've been able to do, is help kids take their story, run their business, take it and turn it into a story, and then create things around it, whether it's a signature event or whether it's a workshop or whether it is just being able to share with other kids that's in your peer group. Because what I notice is that peer-to-peer learning is the number one teacher for kids. And we think as adults we know everything, but the kids can reach the other kids, and we keep overlooking that. It's like, so if
hold on. Yeah. Well, hold on. Listen, you said it. Hold on. Y'all, did she say it? Is she saying it? Is she saying it? Yo, Chastity, yeah, shout out to you and everybody that's watching right now. If you ain't hit the if you didn't hit the share button, you're acting funny style and you're hating. Hit the button, right? Because we probably got something. Hey, we got some news that you can use, especially for your kids, right? You said something that I want to tap on real quick. Our children is listening to other kids and listening to what they are listening to. Our responsibility is to your point, teach them how to think and to bring a traditional work ethic. The work ethic, not necessarily, hey, look, I need you to go over here and build that chair if you want to be in it, because I had to build my chair. You need to build your chair. Why? You don't need to do that. Look, they got 3D printers. I can do it and do it right there. Don't do that, okay? You're acting old, for real. But if your kids is saying, hey, I want to do this, this, and this, teach them what working hard looks like, and that the things that they see on TV or on their phone, some of that is a myth, because sometimes a lot of times, the kids are looking at likes, looking at views, and then when they go off, that's it. But they don't see the hard work. They don't see the disappointment. They don't see the, okay, I done got down. Let me get back up and keep grinding. You get what I mean? So that's the part of the blend, if you will, where the generations need to talk to our kids or talk to the kids about being realistic about their dreams. What you think about that?
Oh, I think you're 100% on the mark. But sometimes being realistic is for our kids is totally unrealistic. I'll give you this point. My son, if you Google right now, youngest vending machine owner in the United States, that's my son. And that's me on the side of him looking all cute. Okay. That's me on the side of him. But I never would have thought that would have been something when he asked me, can I start a vending machine business? I'm just like, okay, I want him to learn financial literacy. I wanted him not to have the story that my parents didn't teach me financial literacy in the house, the school didn't teach. I didn't want that to be his story. So I'm like, okay, you about to start this business, but I'm going to teach you financial literacy through running this business.
See,
so but so unrealistic, that's something unrealistic, and then he was all for it. He wanted to place 15 machines at one time. I'm like, where this money coming from? Where are we about to get this money from? But he was like, his unrealistic expectations got him 12 vending machines. So
Mm,
sometimes we want to be realistic about things, but when you have a childlike faith, it allows you to, yeah, look at, see, I saw I'm cute on the side of him. Look
look
at
at
him.
him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. That's what it is. Hmm.
But having that childlike faith allowed him to do something and challenge the norms. So I want to say this to the parents, said that we have to challenge the norms, or what's normal for us, or what we're comfortable with. We got
Yes.
to challenge that if we want something different for this next generation.
There you
We
go.
say a lot about building generational wealth, but the one thing about building generational wealth that we forget is that you also have to pass down the generational knowledge, because we can get money. We know how to get money. But if we not passing down the knowledge, we just did them a disservice. Well, how do you pass down knowledge? Allowing them to do the thing and help them to work through the process and process what's
Come on.
going on, because that's going to stick with them.
That's right.
It's the repetition.
Absolutely right. I'm so glad you said that. I remember, excuse me, had a conversation. I forget who it was with, but my mother never taught me how to pay bills. Like she said, look, I just got to pay these bills, but I didn't understand how to balance the checkbook. Now, there's some schools that still had home ec. You remember home ec?
Yes.
Remember?
Uh-huh.
They don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Look,
Yeah.
these kids don't know how to make macaroni and cheese. First of all, they don't know how to. A separate conversation. They don't even know how to cook. Okay, so it's the basics, right? That they're not even teaching. So that means that we need to be able to share that knowledge and to see what they come up with. You get what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because to your point, your other point, when we're trying to make mini me's, that's a problem. Even though your child may look like you, smile like you, and everything else, that child is another individual, right?
Yes.
Have different dreams than you may have, right? So we
Yes.
still have a responsibility. I love that.
Yeah, and I also think we miss too that God already got a plan for your kid's life,
Mhm,
right? So if
mhm.
God already got the plan, your job is only to nurture and water the seed and plant the seeds. Like that's your job. God gonna take the rest and do what He needs to do with that child. All of our kids should start at our ceiling and not at our floors. So we're not. The goal is to train them, teach them, give them what it is that they know. And sometimes we don't do it because what we don't know. But then that should tell us that we got to go back and learn and do some learning for ourselves so that we can communicate properly with our children. I like to tell people a lot of broken relationships were mended through entrepreneurship, and this is how. When I start working with those kids and teaching them entrepreneurship, they start learning about business. The parents would like, well, I don't know how to talk to them. I'm like, well, you learn entrepreneurship and now you can have conversation, because entrepreneurship is real life. It's real life stuff that's going on, and it's stuff of, oh, do you know how we did this in the business? Well, okay, in real life, this is this, and this is how you do that. And then you can have a conversation and an open line of communication, because now y'all speaking the same language, which is entrepreneurship.
Guess what, though, Ariel? I'm too old to learn from these kids. I'm too old to go to school. Why am I go and read a book? It ain't work for me. It ain't work for nobody else. Why I need to do
You know
this?
what, Seth? Guess what? They got
Tell me.
audio books, and you put it on audio book, and then you listen to it in the car like you listening to music.
Come
But
on.
it's going to help you grow, because if you don't grow, that means you're still stuck and you still trying to do stuff like they were doing it in the 1960s, and it's not working.
Woo.
It's
Different conversation.
yeah.
We gonna talk about that another. Lord, hey, stop it! Right, just
Yeah.
stop it, everybody. And look, if you're still tuning in, please make sure you hit the share button. Share, share, share. We're talking about this building these bosses with Miss Ariel. Thank you so much for being on. So, man, so we didn't went down so many different. I have so many different questions with so many things you hit on. But what I want to talk about now is, first of all, talk about your business. How's it structured, and where is it now located?
Okay, good question. So the way that my business is structured, it has two pieces. I run a hybrid, so I run a for-profit and a nonprofit, and they both look alike. They look similar, but they're different. So my nonprofit allows me to, which is Young Biz Kidz, it allows me to introduce entrepreneurial concepts to kids and their parents. So I also host lunch and learns for parents. But when you say my kid got this entrepreneurial concept, they keep bugging me. I'm ready to sign up for an LLC. I'm ready to go do this thing. Then you go to my program called the Young Influencer Blueprint, which is my for-profit business. But what I teach them is the same process that I taught my son to grow his influence, to get him with working with Disney, Nike, T-Mobile, Gatorade, Nickelodeon, like all the PBS, all the, like, how did we do that? That's a totally different mindset. That's a totally different program. But when I tell you 6 figures was made, 6 figures was made. So that's what I do with the Young Influencer Blueprint. So Young Biz Kidz is introduction to entrepreneurship, but when you say I'm ready to take this to the next level, then we go to the Young Influencer Blueprint, and that works. How you build influence, you establish yourself as an authority, and then you start putting yourself in front, aligning yourself with the right people that aligns with the mission and the goals that you have for the company.
Love that, ladies and gentlemen. So what we're about to do is we're going to have an opportunity for y'all to ask some questions or comments. So we got the two ways if you about that life. First way is you can join the conversation right now, live. Ooh. Make sure, yeah. Hey, look, check it out. Make sure that bonnet ain't on and you ain't in there looking crazy. You understand?
Look, on the hot seat. You about to put him on the hot seat.
That's what the Lions Den is about. You know what I'm talking about? We get it in. Or you can call, right? The number is 618-792-6747. Again, the number is 618-792-6747. Call now. So, wow, this is outstanding. So how many kids have you worked with or have helped establish businesses?
So altogether across the United States is 300. But exclusively to St. Louis. Mm-hmm. Well, let me take that back. It's 300 in one day. I helped 300 kids in one day across the United States because I created.
Wow. Let me give you a round of applause from the world. Yes.
Because I created a program called YBK Day, which is a day for kids to experience entrepreneurship. So I have proclamations in 7 states saying that this is an official day. So yes, your girl created a national day.
Nice.
But 300 kids participated because they're doing the same thing at the same time, which is selling and inviting people out and running their business. So I was able to create that. So I work with 300 kids that way. But when we look at St. Louis and Illinois, because I'm based out of St. Louis, I've probably helped over 500 kids just in this area.
Wow, that is so. Let me give you that one more again. Yo. That's what's up. So, I mean, this is awesome. And what type of businesses have you seen these young kids create besides the vending machines with your son? You said some things about speaking and products. What else?
Yeah, so they do hair bowls. They do baking, so cupcakes, cookies, popcorn. They do keychains. They some of them use their art and paint, do like paint parties for other kids. Some of them have snack shops, selfie rooms, just anything that you see, t-shirt lines, anything that you see adults doing, the kids are doing it also. Wow. And let me say this, Seth. This next generation, Gen Z, is going to give us a run for our money. They're going to be richer than what we never dreamed of because they have the ability to take the risk and take it early. It's not about the business that's going to make them rich, but it's going to be the mindset that's developed through this. And they're going to know failure early on, and they're going to understand that when we fail, we're succeeding as long as we don't quit, because part of success is failure. So they're learning it early on. And I meet a lot of adults that say, I don't want to fail, so I'm not going to do this until it's perfect. Well, it's like, it's never going to be perfect. And the quicker you get it out in the marketplace, the easier you'll see that I might be spinning my wheels on something that don't even matter. They not even looking for that. They don't even want it to be cute. They just want me to solve the problem that they having, which is they want some sweet pickles, or they want me to get them some $5 jewelry because they want to look fashionable. But we as adults overthink things because we overthink. But the kids just like, I want to make some money. I'm about to go do this. So, and they go do it.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm so glad you said that. It is a mindset. It is most definitely a mindset, just like we was talking about earlier this week. And if we don't get out of that stinking thinking, it's like, what do you expect to happen from that? And children, what I love about the kids in this generation is that they don't know the same fears that we know.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't know. Watch this. They don't use the same excuses as we use. Right?
Yeah, look.
Yeah. Well, they think I'm this and this. Well, the man, whoever the man is, they don't know the man. They don't care who the man is. They want, they want to hear that cash app go cha-ching. That's what they want. You understand? They want to make sure, they can keep making money. And then to your other point, it's that trial and error. So you can't learn anything until you go out there. And then when you don't get your desired result, you learn from it, right? And you just keep on going, but you don't cut yourself out of the race. So that is awesome. Look, shout out to everybody that's watching right now, y'all. We up in the building with Miss Arriel. Oh, goodness. Woo, my Lord. So look, what can we do? What can we do as a community to help out your efforts? What is it that, how can we help you?
The biggest thing, I need volunteers, and I need you, and I also need parents to start giving their kids entrepreneurial experience, whether it's through giving back events, whether it's through planning and organizing something to make change in your local community. We need that because youth entrepreneurship is still unheard of. It's still kind of new. So when I say this is what I do, I work with youth and help them start business, noses get turned up. Like, why would you do that with kids? Kids can't run business. They can't do this. They can't do that. And it's like, you guys don't get it, that these are the next generation of business owners. Other cultures do it all the time. We go to the Rice House. I didn't want to say the other night. We go to the Rice House and see the little kids taking money. We go other places and see the kids doing, but then you come to us, we feel like that our kids can't. Yes, they can. They just haven't been given an opportunity. So my charge to parents is, please, please, please allow your kids to have entrepreneurial experiences.
Yes.
Opportunities to give back to their community in some type of way, or get involved or start some type of business, even if it's Seth, my daughter runs business, I think 2 times a year. I have a 8-year-old daughter. She runs business, but her business is about giving back to the community. So she raised I got diagnosed with breast cancer when she was 2 years old. So during her time, I was battling cancer, she would always be like, Mommy, I want to play with you. And Mommy, I want to start a business like Mikey, because her brother was already running his business. So she would ask me all the time. I'm like, we got to do something. And I would always tell her, Mommy is a little tired. She's exhausted because of this sickness that I'm dealing with. Well, once I got better, what we did was we turned that into a cause. So we started to sell popcorn and cupcakes, and the money that we raised, we started giving it to other breast cancer survivors so that they wouldn't have to feel like they were on their own, that somebody else was out there supporting them, because it was hard when I was battling cancer. So me and my daughter, we got together, and that's what we do together. So it's called Pink Cupcakes and Conversations for a Cause. And we have an event once a year, and we go to a local popcorn shop, and we invite other breast cancer survivors. Last year we gave away 2 trips to Vegas. We gave them $150 a piece, and then we gave them gifts from all the kid entrepreneurs. The kid entrepreneurs, whatever their product was, like if it was a keychain, they made it pink. One of the little girls who does the painting, she made a pink breast cancer bow. Another little girl who did cookies, she did cookies but put them in a box, but to make sure that those survivors knew that they were thought about, they were fighting with us. We were like, if one fight, we all fighting. But I do that with my daughter, and that's a form of entrepreneurship for her. She's not concerned about the money because we buy her what she wants, but she was just wanting to do something. So I would say, parents, give your kids the opportunity to pick out different causes that they might be interested in or start their own, but you're going to learn a lot about your child. My child is a giving child. She loves to give.
And I love that. I love that. And that brings me to the other point of back to listening to our children and listening to their why, right? Because their why may be different than yours. And it can be just as simple as, I don't like this feeling. And so I don't want other people feeling that same way. Something
Yes.
so simple.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. So when's the next one? When's the next one?
October the 7th, which is her next one. We have a book coming out together. It's called Pink Popcorn and Cupcakes for a Cause. It will release October the 7th. That's how I know when the event is. So the event and the book will be on the same day.
Okay, October 7th.
7th.
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all hear that? October 7th. Make sure you keep your ears low to the ground, and we want to make sure we follow up with you and everything that you're doing. So congratulations to that, and
Thank
your
you.
daughter and your son too, in spreading the news of entrepreneurship and financial literacy. You're so spot on, because if we don't give give our youth in the future the chance, the funny thing is that they're gonna take it.
Yeah.
You
They're
right?
gonna take it.
They're gonna take it.
They're
So,
gonna take it.
right? And they're gonna take it. And then what you gonna do? You gonna sit at home being mad, say this is what they should have did, but where were you at when you had the chance? Right? Where were you feeding and cultivating and watering your child? Because to your point, I've seen that the little person behind the counter, all I saw was the fingers, and that was it. They was taking care of business though. Hey, gave me my hold on, let me tell you something. Not only did they give me my change, hold on, can you hear me? They gave me my change. It was correct and good customer service. That's another conversation. Hey, another conversation, because somewhere in between the generations and our peoples, we're missing that. We're missing the, hey, how you doing? Okay, right on. We missed that. We missed the smile.
Yeah, and I think it's because we've been in survival mode so long.
Yes.
So when you look at the generations, our parents had to work. They didn't have the luxury of starting a business because they were still trying to figure it out from what their parents did. And then you come to us where we are forced to go to school because our parents wanted us to have something they never had, and it's because they was always told that this is what's going to get you ahead in life, when that was really not the truth. It'll get you a little bit, but it didn't get you to where you really want to be. So we are dealing with some barriers as a culture that is not going to change overnight. But if you do your part a little bit at a time, we will slowly start chipping away at that. So I want to make sure it's clear. We're not condemning or blaming, we're saying that start working on yourself, start developing yourself, start reading books, start exposing yourself to something different, start going to the classes like Seth had. What was it called, Seth? New Year, New...
It was New Year, new habits.
New Year, New Habits. Start going to those classes, because when I went there, I knew about SMART goals, right? Because I set them. But the way you taught it was like, oh, this is unique and it's interesting. And it made me have to go back and evaluate my circle. Like, who is in my circle? It made me to go back and say, am I really giving the people in my circle grace? Because we talked about grace. Am I really doing that? And each year, it's like, as we grow, we have to make sure that we are reevaluating ourselves or where we are. So can you talk a little bit about grace? Because I see some of my homies on here and they might not know what you do. And I want to make sure they know.
Yeah, okay. On my show. Okay, cool. Well, look, so what I did that day specifically is just had a very great, transparent, intimate conversation and just about accountability when it comes down to your business. What is it that you're doing? What is it that you say that you're going to do? And what is it that you are willing to change in order to get what you want? That means stop wasting frivolous money that's not in line with building your business. Stop wasting time with individuals that's not conducive to your desired goals. Realize when certain people are doing what? Draining your energy, right? Those energy spiritual vampires sucking your neck Right? But who's the fool that keep giving them the neck? Here, give it to me, take it, take all you want. No, right? But then you keep saying, new me, new year, new me. No, it's a new year, old you, right? Because you're still doing old mess. So that's what we talked about. But also just really looking at where we are today and making a conscious effort and promise to ourselves, this is not where I want to be 300 and let's say 50 days from now, right?
Yeah,
And just really
yes.
holding ourselves accountable with that.
Yes, and I needed you to say that because sometimes when I'm saying stuff to people, they think I'm being rude and mean. It's like, no, this is like you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. So parents, you can't do what your mom them did and your auntie them did. You can't do what they did and expect different results for your kids. You got to do what God is placing in you
Oh,
to do, and what people around you that are successful, you got to get underneath them and see how can I take some of what they have and apply it to my life so that I can do something a little bit better for my kids. And I just don't think that we are able to do it because we listen to the spiritual vampires because they are closely connected to us. They are our homie that call us every day and we don't want to be alone and we don't want to offend nobody. But at the end of the day, like that homie might not be conducive to where we going. Like Seth, you said give him 10 minutes. I told my sister the other day, she was talking to me. She said, I know you busy. I said, yeah, you got 10 minutes.
that's it. 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how I pay my tithes. Okay. That's all. Hey, y'all give 10% of your money. I give 10% of my time. I don't care who it is, especially if you're talking crazy. That's it. Quick 10, and it better be good. All right. I'm gonna get mine. You better get yours because after 10 minutes, somebody feelings gonna get hurt. You did. But look, if they don't know, if you can't tell them, send them over to me, okay? www.seththespeaker.com. I'll have a conversation with them. You know, right? But no, real talk. Some people don't want to hear the truth, right?
Yes.
But honestly, the truth is going to set you free. And when I've been hearing that my whole life, I really didn't understand what that meant. But in different places of our life, okay, I do not need this anymore. So when you realize and you identify it, you let it go. You let it go. And then you can, and then it creates more room for the right individuals in your life. What's going on, James?
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I agree, but we're so used to what we're used to, and it's
Yes.
uncomfortable. I hear a lot of women say, no new friends, no new friends in my circle. And for me, I have to have new people in my circle because when I was doing 10K a month, that was a different type of, but when I started doing 20K a month, that whole different mindset. And now that I'm trying to do 100,000, it's just like in a month, that's a whole totally different mindset, dedication. It's just totally different. So it's like, it's not that it's any love loss or anything like that. It's just that for me to operate on this level, I gotta fly with eagles. I can't just be down at a certain level and dealing with stuff that's irrelevant to my growth. And I'm not mad, but at the same time, it's growth for me. And I still love you. That's where the growth comes in, but I still gotta go and give you grace while I continue to go up.
Look at that. Look at that. What she said. You
Yes,
understand? You know,
yes.
this is the key.
Yeah, so let me say this too because
Mhm.
I'm feeling led to say it.
Go on.
But sometimes when people are really close to us, we think that they're supposed to go with us because they started with us, because they made the plan with us, because they made the ideas with us. We think that they're supposed to go with us, but we have to understand that people are in your life for seasons and reasons. So once sometimes that season is up and you got to understand it, and you also got to understand the reason why they're in your life. I was just having a conversation with my pastor right before I got on with you, and he was saying, Ariel, you got to understand the people and the reason why they're in your life and why they're coming into your life, because the level that you're going to, you're going to need some people that can carry you because you've never been there before. So you can't use weak people in this season because they will drop you and they will hurt you
Hey, not
because
only will
they're
they do
weak.
that, they're weak, but they're weak because they're not able to connect with your dream, or their mindset is so different. But with that being said, everybody has a place.
Yes.
Everybody has one. So it's our responsibility to compartmentalize people. You dig? We have
Yes.
to be able to do that. Not everybody can come to your board meetings. Listen,
Yes.
there's some people that I grew up with, east side of Detroit, that would not be able to come into certain circles, right? Right? They would not be able to do that. They may have different aromas, if that makes sense. Okay, they just might do that. But who's the fool that's inviting them? Come on
Yeah.
now. So you have to do that. You have to protect your circle. You have to protect your dreams. You have to protect your aspirations and also your friendships. So
Yeah.
I was listening to something earlier today by was talking about friends and talking about associations, associates, and we have to make that decision when we utilize that discernment and say, okay, like to your point, a different level is going to require a different circle of individuals. That does not mean I'm not here for you anymore. I'm still here, but hey, I got business to attend to. Okay, I'll holler at you on the weekend because that's where our friendship is right now.
Yes.
Okay, so the I guess my work ethic is causing me to be up different hours and I go to sleep different hours.
Yes.
You don't do that. So let me not complicate your life. Okay.
Right.
I
Right.
holler at you when I holler at you. No love lost. Still love you. I'm gonna see you on Sunday. Right on. But on today, I got business to take care of. But what happens is sometimes individuals have remorse, what is it? No, survivor's guilt. Right? Look, since I done made it, we all got to do it. What you do? Why you leave me here, Nelly? Another conversation. Why you leave us here? Look, we came together. What you do? What? I can't get none. Really? Come on now. You seen it. I was right there with you. Okay. Not everybody want the same thing, but that's not your responsibility to bring people along with that. You can't reach out and reach back for people that got their hands in their pockets because they don't want it.
Yes.
They
Yes.
don't want it.
I'm glad you hit on survivor's remorse because I had that coming
Tell me about
from, yeah, so coming from battling breast cancer,
it.
and I'll even go back further, coming from the projects, you make it out and you are successful, and then you have people who that are around you want you to do certain things for them, and it's like they don't get that if I do this for you, you still gonna be in the same position next month. So what I need you to do is do some of the same things that I did so that you can get out yourself, and then you don't have to keep waiting on somebody to come and give you that. When I battled breast cancer, it was a group of us women battling together. I made it out. Everybody didn't make it out. I had survivor's remorse and it hit me hard. But then God started to deal with me that you made it out because I still had work for you to do. Now you
Right.
can do it willingly or unwillingly, but you about
Right.
to do this work. So
Right.
I had to be comfortable enough to say that God, I'm going to say yes to your will and yes to your way. And in doing that, it makes me uncomfortable. I do not like speaking in front of people. I do not like going live on Facebook. I do not like, like I'm in rooms with 3,000 people and I'm speaking and talking in front of them. I do not like it, but the call on my life, I have to do it because they couldn't get the story or they couldn't get what they need through anybody else. So I have to stop thinking about me and start thinking about what God is trying to push through me. They don't care about me. They're just trying to get healed. So if they're willing to show up, I need to show up so that they can get healed. So it don't matter if I stutter. It doesn't matter if my teeth are crooked. It doesn't matter if I got no hair, all the hair, wrinkle. It doesn't matter because it's not about me. My job is to show up. And as I show up, the people that need to be ministered to will get the word that's supposed to come out of me. And that was hard for me. But once I battled cancer that second time, I was like, you know what, God, what I need to do? What I need to
That's
say?
it.
Can I
Hey,
say, look, Seth, can I say, what I'm talking about? Because I said a
hey,
lot. So do you know what I'm
hey.
talking about?
I
But
know what
God
you
was just
talking
like,
about.
girl, look, girl, just show up, do your thing, and I will polish you as needed because it's a group of people that's going to understand exactly what you're talking about.
There
So
it
they're
is.
going to know, and they're not going to be able to get it from somebody that's a different race, a different color. They need somebody that look like them, walk like them, talk like them, and came from environments like them to know that they can do it, because they see enough on TV that they're like, can I do that? I can't. But you real life. They see you in Walmart. They see you at Snooks. They see you all around here, and they trying to take pictures with you. And I had a hard time dealing with that, because I'm like, why do they want to take pictures with me? Like, because, but I didn't realize the elevation that God had done in my life. And I knew that I was all over the TV. I knew that I was on Billboard. Like, I knew all of this stuff, but it still hadn't registered to me that I am a local celebrity. It never registered to me until afterwards. I'm like, now wait a minute. But I believe God allowed that to happen so that I can stay humble. And I was taking pictures with him, but I'm like, y'all, let me fix my edges on this picture. Now, get me from this side, get me from my good angle. And they like, Miss Arriel, you so funny. But it's the kids. They run up to me. They love it. And I'm like, you know what? I am the closest that they're going to see to success. So I got to make sure that I keep showing up for those kids and their parents so that they'll know that we can come out of poverty if we wanted to. It ain't going to be easy, but it is a way that's been done, and it's been done successfully, and we can grow and do this thing together.
Look, hey, for those in the back that didn't hear that, if y'all need to rewind it back, y'all can do that with any time you want to, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Lion's Den. I see you, Jamari. What's going on, young man? I see you out there. Miss Chastity says, say it again, survivor's remorse. We beat ourselves up and doubt our success to comfort others. Jeez, my God.
Yes.
Ain't that about nothing? Listen, and you know the crazy part is, they don't care what you're not doing, just as long as they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Another conversation, y'all. We ain't got all night. All right, we ain't got all night. But hey, y'all, let us know if this should be a part 2 later on. I'm thinking part 2. What you thinking, Miss Ariel? And making sure your kitchen together. What you think about part 2? You want to come on back into the den?
Yeah, I need to come back into the den, because we talk surface level,
Yeah.
but you know, like, it's a lot that as women that we deal with that are barriers that keep us from doing certain things. So I would love to tap into that, because she said a part 2 and a part 3,
Yes,
but
she do.
it's some different things, because when we talk about entrepreneurship and starting business and growing and developing, we also got to grow and develop these kids. So when do I got time for me? Because I got to make sure they're good. I got to go to work. I got to work a job so I can make sure a roof over their head. So our mindset as women, we carry and we wear a lot of hats. And how do we find this balance? Like I told you, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I serve at my church. I work with adult business owner, I work with kids business owner, and I work with 300 of them suckers. You know, so like, how do you find the balance? But when I tell you, when you understand the vision that God has for you, and then you align yourself the right way, that will allow you the grace to do what God has called you to do. And because there's no training manual to be a mom, because we look at this on social media when they say moms, I'm a good mom because I dress my kid like this. I'm a good mom because my kids don't have this. I'm a good mom because my kid got this big party. Well, am I not a good mom because I don't have these big elaborate parties for my kid, but I just invest $25,000 into a vending machine business for my kid, but because it's not seen, I'm not a good mom because he don't have the latest J's on, or because he don't have this, but he has all of this. Because I'm thinking future. I'm thinking about building. I'm thinking about what we do today is sowing seeds for 5 years from now, because of where my mindset is. And as moms, especially parents, period, but as moms especially, our mindset has to be, I know that I'm at a deficit, but I got to train myself to think differently, react differently to situations, not overly respond, and also train my kids through the process. And that's not easy. It's hard, but it's intentionality that's what's going to get it.
Pause. This is what we go do. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. That conversation, I believe, needs to be on Healed with Seth the Speaker, because we're going to be getting more in depth with the psyche, right? Not the business, but more of you and being a woman and being a mother and being all things for everybody, including yourself, right?
Yes,
What you think
Seth.
about that?
I think that's good because we have to do it even when we're hurted. Like I'm
That's it.
smiling now, and
Yeah.
but did you once think, does this woman hurt? Or
Hey,
is
well,
this woman going
exactly.
through something? Or we
Mhm.
never think about it. We just see the smile and we see what we want from the woman, whatever that may be, but you don't
Yes,
realize how is she really,
that's right.
what's going on in her mental. Really, we don't think about those things when it comes to women. We think they got it together, they gonna get it together, and if they don't got it, they got another sister that's gonna hold them up while they're doing it. And yes, that's true to an
Yeah.
extent, but some battles we gotta walk through on our own. Nobody's gonna be able to walk through it with us, and only a woman can tell another woman that.
I like that. And what they say, if I look like what I've been through, my goodness. Hey, you can't find the right filter to help that on out. But listen, yes, yes, yes. She said that would be a great panel discussion. Absolutely. It really would. You know, my mind is turning like it always is. But Ariel, I want to thank you, ma'am, for being in the den. What?
Thank you for
Oh,
having me in the den.
no doubt, no doubt. And you will be back, but we got some other work to do. So don't go anywhere. Okay, stay right there. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the Lion's Den. If you appreciate any of this, please let me know. As a matter of fact, not just let me know, there's a way you can do that. And I highly, highly, highly encourage you to do that. To do this, you can actually give a review. Okay, you can give a review right now. You can go to the website. As a matter of fact, here's the link. I'm putting it in the chat right now, and I'm gonna bring it up just in case. You go to Lions Pride 21.com review. Put it in, put everything that you think about this show, and also give me your comments. What would you like to hear? All right, because Ariel dropped a lot of jewels, and it ain't over. Trust me. Look, we only got so much time in the episode, but I want to let you know that we appreciate you for sticking around and everything. And again, just want to echo her. Listen to your kids. Okay, y'all remember that song with Slick Rick? Hey, young world, look, they're still there. You understand? But the world is theirs. It's our responsibility to help them to see it. All right. I appreciate y'all. Love each other and have a great week. Right on, right on.